Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming and joining us today. I know we're getting started just a few minutes late. We had a bunch of folks who emailed us, and we're coming in just a few minutes late, so we wanted to let everybody get in and so that we could get started and everybody could hear as much of this as possible. So again, thank you very much for joining us on our webinar today. I want to go through a couple of housekeeping items, and just make sure that we're all on the same page. I want to be clear with everybody. Our webinar today is going to be very business focused, and what are the business reasons for why you all should be incorporating Workspace as a service into your organization. And that's going to be the main point of the focus. This is not going to be a demonstration today of the product. If that is something that you want to see, we will be doing another one of those actually tomorrow afternoon. And if you would like something a little more personalized or one-on-one, you can have a conversation with your sales rep, and they will get you taken care of. So again, our goal today is going to be business focused, not really technology focused. We'll talk a little bit about technology, but we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of why you should be doing this as an organization. And obviously, as you know from the invite, if you sign up to become a partner with us and you attend to this webinar, you're going to get $500 in free Google credits so that you can really do the testing and put it through its paces without having to devote much other than some time and energy. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So Waterdog Technologies, we're going to talk a little bit more about Waterdog here in a second, but overall, the main focus of this webinar is really around Workspace as a service, as I'm sure you guys already know. If you want to find some more details about us, waterdogtech.com is our website, and if you want to send an email and have somebody respond, if you don't have a sales rep at this point in time, just send an email to hello@waterdogtech.com at any point in time, and we'll have somebody get back to you usually in a couple hours from you sending the message. So who am I? Basically, I'm going to be your Sherpa today. I'm going to shepherd you through this experience. Basically, I've got, my name's Crash Lowe, as most of you probably know. I've got over 17 years of experience in the tech space. 9 of those years almost now are in an as-a-service capacity. So I know that as a service model, whether it's software as a service, technology as a service, infrastructure as a service, I know that space really well, and I would dare to say I'm very close to being an expert in it. But at its core, I'm not a technology guy. I'm a business guy, and so I really specialize in helping businesses kind of adapt and thrive in different emerging or changing markets. Which, if you haven't realized yet, we are absolutely in one of those in an MSP. Which they tend to go through every 3 or 4 years. There's a pretty big technology shift in terms of how they do business, and we are definitely in one of those right now. And I was just literally 2 weeks ago named to be the co-chair of the CompTIA's Distribution Advisory Council board, which is a pretty big thing for our company to be thrown into the mix with the likes of Synex and Ingram Micro and Tech Data and these kind of companies. And in fact, these big organizations, and it's partly the reason for our relationship with Synex, these really large organizations are really looking to us to understand how we're doing this and being so successful with it. And that's pretty neat to have that recognition in the industry. So at my core, what am I here to do? And you'll hear me say this over and over again, it's setting partners up for success. I mean, it's that simple. And it's not because we're Mother Teresa or because we're a charity organization. It's because when we make you successful, we're successful. With that, and how we do that is really kind of disrupting the current model for MSPs and distributors to really strengthen your monthly recurring revenue model. And that's kind of what we see as the goal to your success and our success. And we do that by really employing what we believe are the best salespeople, the best tech people, and the best teams. And that's because they're passionate about the industry, they're passionate about our company, they become passionate about your company. And they're very knowledgeable in terms of what they do. You can work with our people soup to nuts through the entire process, and we'll get you to success without a doubt. And again, we do that by creating environments where everybody's having fun and making money. And that's true for both our employees and our partners. And for me, I have a personal goal of having over 2,000 MSPs on this platform by the end of 2018. And we're actually ahead of schedule of making that happen. And so hopefully you all, if you're not partners already, you're going to be able to become partners, and you're going to be able to allow us to lead you to water, so to say, in terms of making yourself really wildly successful with this technology. So about WaterDog, right? So we were born out of one of the largest MSPs in Massachusetts. We actually are partner with him. It's not partner, but I'm a partner with an MSP there. Has about almost 50 employees. We represent everything from Hartford to Burlington, Vermont, over from Albany all the way to Boston and everything in between. We're based in Springfield, Massachusetts, but this summer we actually opened our second office up in Portland, Maine, and we would like any of you to come and visit any point in time. We got a pretty cool office on a really neat campus, so it's pretty great. We're 100% channel focused. We do no direct sales. We don't deal with any end users. We work only through our MSPs and strategic partners to get this product to market, and that has worked for us very well. And one of the reasons why it works so well is because we're product agnostic. So I don't care what antivirus you use. I don't care what RMM you use. I don't care what disaster backup recovery tool you use. I don't care, right? We're going to be able to inject our tool into whatever platforms you guys already have, and it will work. Additionally, we have a number of legacy products that we sell historically from when we got started in 2014. They are not our focus. We really are laser focused 100% on Workspace as a service, and the other products are really just order taking at this stage. We've got a couple of people who do some care and feeding with that stuff, but our day-to-day, every day with all of our reps is about Workspace as a service. And we're very, very happy and proud and excited to be Synex's Workspace as a Service strategic partner. We're actually the only Workspace as a Service platform that they're working with, and it's because we know what we're doing, and we do it very, very well. So when you start talking about our value proposition, obviously, like a lot of this is kind of repetitive, but we're laser focused on Workspace as a service. It's all we do every day. And as I already mentioned too about our staff, I mean, we put together personalized teams to really help you guys and foster you all to success. I mean, that's really everything we do from sales to deployment. It's all about our teams and how they help you. And what that's allowed us to do is really crack the code. Like, we have the secret sauce to make you guys successful. And it's funny, and the reason why we do these business discussions on these webinars and why we think it's so important is everybody gets the tech. Like, they get the technology very quickly, and they understand why this is important for their business long term, to make their business successful, to make it grow. What a lot of times they don't understand is, how do I take this and inject it into my current model of what I do? And that's what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today. And I'm going to, hopefully have you understand very clearly that it's a process, and we want to help you and hold your hand every step of the way with that process. So why Workspace as a Service, and why is it so important that you get on the bandwagon with us now? Well, first and foremost, and this has just been adjusted as of a week ago, and I just haven't adjusted it in my slide yet, but this is looking to grow from 2015 to 2022 from about a $7.5 billion a year business to actually a $22 billion a year business. And that's an enormous gain. And at the end of the day, we want to be part of that gain, and we want to actually have you be part of that gain as well. Like, that's what we're trying to do here. So this is an enormous market segment within the MSP space, within the technology space, and we want to help you get your part. And so what's really driven that to happen? Well, bring your own device revolution, right? Nobody gets a work cell phone anymore. You bring your iPhone or your Android device to work with you, and you go from there. More and more companies that we're seeing are starting to actually just give their new employees, hey, here's $500, here's $1,000, here's $1,500. Go buy whatever computer you want and figure out what you want and call these guys. And they'll call their MSP. They'll order the computer, whether it's a laptop, a desktop, a thin client, whatever it is. We're seeing that more and more in the industry. Obviously, cybersecurity threats. You guys all heard about the Equifax thing, I'm sure, and are at some level dealing with it. I can go off and talk to you all for about an hour and a half about why that one specifically upsets me so much, but we're not going to do that anyway. You'll hear me say over and over again that the least secure place for your clients' hardware is in their office. The least secure place for their infrastructure is in their office, behind their doors. It literally is the least secure place for their stuff, both from a cybersecurity standpoint and from a physical standpoint. We're going to talk more about that as well. Distributed organizations, right? We live in a day and age now, and this technology helps foster this even further, but we live in a day and age where if I want to hire the best employees in the country, I can hire them from anywhere. I don't have to just hire them from Springfield, Mass, or from Portland, Maine. If I want to expand and grow an office in Denver, I can hire a resource in Denver, and I can have them work and feel and have the same control as if they were sitting in my office, and all of your clients can have that as well. And then obviously consumerization of IT, everything's getting faster, cheaper, and it's pretty much just the way of technology. So what else is enabling this, right? Ubiquitous connectivity. Obviously, everybody has better bandwidth now than they had 10 years ago. That makes obviously a huge difference, and it's one of the major factors that makes this viable right now. Proof streaming, same thing. That's just due to higher bandwidth. Smartphones and tablets, we already talked about that. But it is pretty neat because our technology has an app that you can put on your smartphone, your tablet, and when you go into a client, you can just have your tablet up and you can make changes. You can add users, you can add apps, and you can do it all right from your tablet. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, and then obviously virtualization. That's pretty much what the name of this whole game is about. So more reasons other than the financial reasons. Well, let's kind of talk about those, right? We're seeing a lot of these out in the world today. We have a little photo contest that's up and running. If you guys would like to join in, that'd be fantastic. But we can't tell you about the number of clients that we have seen personally with our MSP and also from our partners that they've sent us of the server rooms that they find, whether it's in bathrooms or in toilets or in water closets with a hot water heater or in a room that's 9,000 degrees or in a shed that's actually outside. I can go on and on and on and on and on about the places where we see servers, where we see client infrastructure put, and it's ridiculous. And so I'm back to the least safe place, if for no other reason than it's 110 degrees in that little metal tin shed, Faraday cage that they think they have outside. It is the least safe place for your client's equipment is in their office, and that includes their toilet or their bathtub or the shower or whatever it is. That is literally the least safe place for their equipment, and you need to stress that fact with your clients every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. So what about some other things? I just threw some neat pictures in here of some of the storms that we got last winter up in our area. Obviously, you can see the New Hampshire sign. That's on the road. That's a picture that I took. That's on the road from basically here to our office in Massachusetts. It was a poor idea to go that day, and I actually turned around and ended up going home. This is a friend of ours' house up in Vermont who works remotely up in the upper left-hand corner, pretty funny, and this is one of our clients that took a picture skiing at Jay Peak because they decided to go skiing for the day instead of working. So at the end of the day, the bottom line of this is just kind of to really drive the point home for your clients that they can work anywhere, from anywhere to anywhere, and regardless of where it is, they can all have the same experience. Now let's talk about, obviously snowstorms and things like that in the Northeast, in the Mountain West can be blizzards, and that can affect how we work and affect where we work and how that all does. I know for my employees, if we're going to get a snowstorm, there's zero reason for them to leave the house, right? Stay home. One of my employees, Pat, is pretty adamant about getting to the office, and he literally almost got stranded at our office in Springfield one time because he decided to go to the office, which wasn't super smart. But there's lots of other natural disasters that we're seeing happen around, and these are all it's funny because I picked all these pictures 2 months ago, but they're all very apropos right now. We've got forest fires in Montana. We've got hurricanes and things like that happening around the country. We just got hammered again. Puerto Rico just got hammered again yesterday. So, this is the kind of thing when you start talking about where is my infrastructure. The companies in Florida that didn't have their infrastructure in Florida fared a lot better in terms of getting the continuity of their company back up and running than the companies that did have their infrastructure in Florida. So, servers don't interact very well with rain or fire or water or any of those things. So, with this platform, you've got the ability to pick and choose. Where do you want your infrastructure? Do you want it in the Northeast? Do you want it in the Southeast? Do you want it in the middle of the country where not a lot of things happen, right? Do you want it in Colorado? Do you want to mix it around in different parts of the country? Because, again, for continuity's sake, you've got different options there. So this is why I continue to stress over and over again. You're going to hear me say it a million times. The least safe place for your client's equipment is in their office. So let's take natural disasters aside for a second, and let's just look at the little kid that decides to break into your office. This is one of our partners And all of their employees are pretty big cyclists, so they have this little town bike shop they run. They fix kids' bikes in the neighborhood and all this kind of stuff. And they do that on the weekends. It's kind of like their little community project, which is awesome. Well, one day, one of the little kids, he looks probably about 12, from the neighborhood, decided to break into their little garage they have out back where they keep all their bikes and toys and wheels and all these different things. Well, he was able to get into the bike shed through a window, wasn't able to get back out through a door or anything along those lines, wasn't able to take anything. And silly enough, he got caught. And worse than that, he's actually one of the kids that they had just fixed his bike. So kind of a little karma action going on there. But, you know, people can break into your office, right? They can get into your office. They can take your things. Our office in Springfield is on the second floor, and we have been broken in there a number of times. And one of those times, there were like literally thousands and thousands of dollars of computers around, and for whatever reason, they tried to take the safe, which there's nothing in the safe. We just think it's a really cool safe. And they kicked it down a flight of stairs and all this kind of stuff, and the thing weighs like 700 pounds. So I don't know exactly how they did that. But, you know, at the end of the day, there is the risk of someone getting into your office or getting into your partner's offices and literally taking their equipment because it looks expensive, or destroying their equipment, pouring coffee on it or soda on it, or cutting the wires, or smashing it with a hammer. I mean, the least safe place for your client's infrastructure is in their office. Well, you say, I don't need to worry about that because my clients have an alarm system, right? Okay, well, what's the average response time in the United States, if anybody has any idea? Yeah, it's about 12 to 15 minutes. So how much damage can I do to your equipment in 12 to 15 minutes? Well, we're going to show you that here in a second. Well, what do you say? Maybe I'm not worried about people breaking in and whatnot, but what about these folks, right? These are your employees. If you guys are fortunate enough to have a set of employees that are all this good looking, I envy you and I want to come and work for you. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at this and like these people all seem really happy. Well, these are your employees, you know, or your clients' employees, and they're not worried about anything. Well, maybe they should be, because sometimes employees, when you let them go or when you make decisions that maybe they don't like, sometimes they have a problem. Even if they're employees that are so happy they're jumping for joy, sometimes people make poor decisions. So this is from one of our partners, and they let somebody go. One of their clients let somebody go, and he took a computer from the office, took it out to the shooting range, and then brought it back to the office the next morning. Not a really happy guy, I'm guessing. And, you know, he looks at it as you're messing with his livelihood. And the CEO of this company that had let the guy go decided that he wasn't going to take any more chances and started carrying a gun every day, as did his family, because they were worried this guy was going to come and try and get some retribution for being fired. He never did, but still a little bit unnerving when you walk up and you find your employee that you've let go, that this is what he did to his computer. We have another partner who one of their clients had to let somebody go, and they took their server and they literally threw it into a lake. So we were actually able to end up getting it back. We use it on display in our office, and those are real fish. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff where people actually do this stuff, and people who are seemingly nice and happy and content sometimes go off the rails when they lose their job, or when they, you know, lose being head of a project at a job, or things along those lines. So keep that in the back of your mind, and it comes back to what I say over and over again. It's why the least secure place for your client's equipment is in their office. So, but what should you really be afraid of, right? And this is, and I stress this over and over and over again, but in my mind, and through a lot of the research that I've done and some really smart people that I've talked to, one of the things that I believe that you should be most afraid of is software as a service, right? So more and more manufacturers are creating software as a service applications as opposed to on-prem applications. And I think it's one of the single biggest threats that MSPs face. Like anything, you know, moderation's fine, but it truly is one of the single biggest threats. And why is that? Because it takes away control from you. You know, if they ultimately aren't going to need any on-prem servers at all because they're going to do everything in a SaaS model, that gives you very limited control, and there's very little that you can now help them with the exception of doing break-fix stuff. And these manufacturers, you know, I talk to them because there is a software as a service advisory council, and we interact with them a lot at CompTIA. And one of their things is, their thought process is like, we don't even know anything about the channel. Like, we're not interested in the channel at all. We don't want to give up any of our points of our revenue. And we look at the idea of building our products directly for the end user that make them so easy to use that they don't need an MSP. They don't need a distributor in any way, shape, or form. And so they're developing and building and marketing all this stuff to go direct. And don't be confused, because Microsoft's done this, Amazon's done this. Like, when most of these people develop a product, the idea isn't, hey, let's build this so that MSPs can deploy it. Usually what they say is, let's build this and give it right to the end client, and now all of a sudden the end client doesn't know how to do it, so then they have to begrudgingly rely on the MSPs. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. So keep that in the back of your mind, that what we're talking about when we start talking about Workspace as a service, even if clients are using a software as a service type of program, you can still retain an awful lot of your control and an awful lot of you being relevant through a Workspace as a service platform, even if you're deploying a SaaS application. And a lot of that comes down to, there's data liability issues, big loss of the sticky factor. That's huge. That's another term you'll hear me say a lot, is the sticky factor. But as I said earlier, the biggest thing is it's going to take MSPs like yourself that have fought really hard to go from being a break-fix shop up to being a true top of your region MSP. It's going to send you back to being break-fix, because all you're really going to be doing is resetting routers, maybe setting up a switch here and there, and fixing computers that get viruses. And that's it. And I don't think that any of us, and this is kind of why I talk about this is a real true changing and emerging market, nobody really wants to go back down that path. So be on the lookout for this. Pay attention to this. This is something that should be, that all of you should be thinking about. So how does it work? Got a couple kind of quasi-technical slides here where I'm going to talk about them pretty high level. I've got a little video I'm not going to show you. It's on our website if you want to watch it. I will tell you that it is a great video to use to show to your clients, because it really does a good job of explaining what we do. So the Waterdog Itopia Google relationship kind of works like this. Think of it as a three-legged stool. Basically, it all starts, the software all starts with discovery, which is tools that we have built in that are either on the PC level or the network level that allow you to go in and pull all the information that you need to actually do a deployment, okay? Once you have that information, you can then roll over and take all of that information from our software tool and move it directly into the migration platform, where you will actually migrate them from a colo or on-prem or some other platform up into our platform, which is housed in the Google Cloud. From there, and so that's the one piece that's most likely going to take maybe your higher paid engineers, your more knowledgeable folks. The discovery tool can be run by a salesperson. Very simple. Anybody can run that. Then you get into management, which again, anybody can run the management tool, and that's resetting passwords, setting up new users, adding applications after the fact, all of those different points of contact that you're going to have with the client. You can take a tech that just came out of high school that you've had working for you for 2 weeks. I can train him in an hour on how to use the management console. So you can take your highest paid resources, your highest paid technicians, and keep them laser focused on just doing deployments or doing side projects. And that, to me, is enormous. And that is where one of the big chunks of cost savings comes in for MSPs. So we talked about this movie. This is a little movie, like I said, it's kind of cutesy. It is a great tool. You can download it off of our website. Actually, just grab the link to it off of our website. And it is such a fantastic tool for sending out to clients. It gives them a very high level, agnostic view of what Workspace as a service is, and it gives them an idea of what you are looking to do for them. So I encourage all of you to go watch this, and I encourage all of you to maybe take it, and copy and paste the link and use it as your own. So let's talk a little bit about how do we, really kickstart our business and Workspace as a service. And again, for myself and most of my sales reps, this is where we spend the bulk of our time talking to people. But I want to tell you that don't fret, because at the end of the day, it's really not that different than from what you've been doing, but we're going to get into a little more nitty-gritty detail about it. So first and foremost, I want you to eat your own dog food. What do I mean by that? I mean, you need to take and you need to set up an environment internally so that your team can use it. Now, that internal environment may be something you want to move your entire office over. Great. It may be something where you just want to set up 1 or 2 users. That's fine too. It really doesn't matter to me, but at the end of the day, You have to go and eat your own dog food. You've got to set up an environment internally for your people to test and for them to get knowledgeable on. And you might want to think about deploying it across your entire organization. That's really up to you. But the core crux of that is that you've got to become the expert on it. And you do that with every other product that you go out there and you take to market. You become an expert on it. This is no different. If you go out to market with it, you go talk to people and you haven't used it, you don't have an environment for yourself and your staff to touch and feel and get immersed in, and you go out and you talk to people about it, you will fail every single time. So you need that credibility of understanding the platform to be successful, and we will train you, all right? And if you don't do this, you're going to default to whatever it is you're doing today over and over and over again, and you'll find 6 months from now you won't have sold any of this, because the way you talk to people, the way people understand your expertise around it, they're just going to continually default to what they currently have, and that's not a path to success in any way, shape, or form. So you've got to put in the miles with any new solution in order to be successful. So being proactive with refreshes. So what I mean by that, as a thought leader in your organization, I want you to go out and I want you to talk to every client that you have, and I want you to do it today. I want you to make a phone call. I want you to, especially if they don't hear from you very often, I want you to call them up and tell them, hey, listen, we're going in a new direction with our organization. I just wanted to give you a heads up, because when you go to your trade shows, you're going to hear about this from somebody else, and I want you to have heard about it from us first. We'd love to do this for you. We'd love to sit down, have a conversation about it, and see what it would take to get you from your current platform onto this Workspace as a service platform. And I know that you just bought all new equipment a year ago, so maybe now it's not the right time, but I at least want to plant the seed. I want you to know that we're doing this, and I want you to know that we're ready to do this for you as your equipment comes up to be refreshed. So, and with all that, you need to make sure that your entire organization is delivering the same message, right? That's one of the most important things. You want every tech talking to your customers when they're out, seeing them face to face about what you guys are doing, the new things that you're doing, the path that you're going to be going down. All of this has to be a delivered, consistent message from everybody within your organization. Okay. And like I said, your clients are hearing about this from other sources. When they go to their law firm annual meeting or whatever it is, there's a little trade show there. They've got 9 guys telling them why they should move over to a Workspace as a service or a desktop as a service or a VDI environment, and how they're the experts in it, and they'll do it all for them, and they'll do it for way cheaper than you'll do it for. Okay, well, that's usually not the case, but my point is that if they've not heard it from you first, then they're going to come back and they're going to start asking you for stuff, and then it's going to be the tail wagging the dog. Okay. And what else does it allow you to do by spearheading this and going out and being proactive? Is it allows you to be a leader in your region. You guys all have the chance right now to be a leader in your region, in your city, in the area that you work in, and possibly be the only person there doing this. And that is a huge coup, because 3 years from now, 4 years from now, when everybody's doing it, you guys can say you were the first, you were at the tip of the spear, and you guys are the true experts with it. Okay. Helps you to stay relevant. We kind of already talked about that. Now we kind of get into letting us help you. This is critical, in my opinion, to being successful with this 100%. Our goal is not to sell this to you, say, hey, check you later, have a good time, see ya, peace out, right? Our goal is we want to hold your hand through every step of the process, make you successful, and we're going to do that because we understand it's a new business direction for you, okay? But I want to alleviate your fears right now, is even though it's a new business direction, it's really not any different from what you've been doing all along. Literally, there's 2 little parts that are different, but that's about it, and we can really help you with that. So we've got the secret sauce. That's our thing. That's what we do. That's why we want to help, all right? And we will help you do proposals, okay? I can't tell you the number of proposals that I've helped written for customers and helping them do pricing and putting all that together when they're going out there. And I'll help you do as many of as you need me to help you do. Once you get a little success under your belt, you won't need it, but I'm happy to help you do that, right? I will sit into client meetings with you. We've got about once a month, I go off to one of our clients somewhere, in one of our partners somewhere in the country, and I'll do a talk for them, and they'll invite all their clients, all their prospects, and for whatever reason, a lot of times when I talk to them, they listen better than when our partner talks to them, and I think sometimes it's just a different voice. But at every one of these meetings that I've been to, our partners get contracts signed while they're there. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water, but that brings me to contracts. People always ask me, oh, well, I've got to totally redo our contract. Well, I ask you this. If you were to carry a different antivirus tomorrow, would you redo your whole contract? No, you wouldn't. This is the same thing, okay? There's a couple little pieces that we might want to look at. We might need to change a word here or there, but that's really, really simple. I'll help you do that. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Don't let that be a barrier to your success with this. And then training your staff. We'll step up. We'll bring your staff up to speed. We'll make sure that they understand how this works, how they talk to people, and that we're a resource that they can use to have those conversations with folks. So, and like I said from the very beginning, your success is our success, and that's why we're doing all of this. So, not reinventing the wheel. Again, pretty simple. A no, it's a new direction, but it's not really any different from what you guys already know how to do. Okay. And with that, we're gonna help you to find reasons to succeed and not reasons to fail. And we are very incented to have that happen, right? Again, current contracts, they don't need to be rewritten. They just need to be tweaked slightly, and I'll help you to get that done. And you're going to do this in the same kick-ass way that you've done everything you're doing today. It's really, really simple. Like I said, we just want to give you the support to help make sure that you're successful. All right, so adjusting compensation, this is one a lot of times they don't think about. So for your sales reps or your techs that are out there selling, they're in a model right now where every couple of years they sell this enormous deal, and there are a lot of peaks and valleys. Okay, so we want to help you start planning as you move to more of a monthly recurring revenue model, and we want you to be clear with your team about why this is important, not just for the company but for them personally. And usually, once people understand that, they get on board very, very, very quickly. But at the end of the day, expect that there's going to be a little bit of pushback from different reps that you have, and not only pushback, that you're going to have a lot of questions. Okay, and that's fine, and you're gonna have to make a decision. But our recommendation and what we're going to show you is we're going to continue to show you a way to stay the course, so that fundamentally at the end of the day, maybe some of your folks that don't want to do this are going to be very on board, because they're going to see how profitable long term it can be for them. Okay, this is a big one. I can't stress this one enough. Do not give them options. Okay, and what do I mean by that? This is the single biggest mistake that MSPs make when they start doing this, when they start selling this, okay? They go in and they say, hey, listen, you've got this refresh on your equipment coming up. We can do this for you, put it on-prem, here's what it's going to cost. Or we can do this new technology that we just started using that we don't have a whole bunch of experience with, that we don't know a whole lot about, and we can do that for you. And it's, that'll be on a monthly recurring model. And every single time they're going to pick the first option, okay? So don't give them options. Just tell them that, hey, listen, times are changing, we're evolving, we're getting better, we're growing with the times, and plain and simple, this is what we're doing for you. Okay? You wouldn't over-explain it if you were doing the refresh of on-prem equipment, right? You just say, hey, here's a quote. Let's go. Tell me when you're ready. All right? And they're working with you because they trust you. They're working with you because they want you to be the tip of their spear. They want you to bring them the best solutions that are out there in the market today. They expect that from you. So do it for them. Take them the solution, explain to them, and we'll help you do this, why this is the best, why it's the right way to go, why it's going to save them money, why it's going to make you and them more effective. All of these things, do it, right? So that's what they've hired you to do. That's what they trust you to do. Okay, and at the end of the day, be willing to walk away. If somebody says, no, we're at them, and unless they've got a good reason, which there are good reasons out there, no, we're good. We're just going to stay the course. We're going to keep doing stuff on-prem. You can go, hey, listen, that's cool. I'm going to give you the number of another MSP that I know we work with really well, and they'll do it for you on-prem, but we're not going to. And so I've watched people use that line. I can't tell you the number of times, and I've yet to have somebody say at the end of everything, say, no, we're just going to stay with our on-prem. They always end up moving. So to recap here, right, we want to be willing to eat our own dog food, right? You've got to put this in-house. Be proactive with your refreshes. Go out, beat the street, tell people that this is what's coming down the pipe. Let us help you. I can't tell you that enough. Like, let us help you do this. We've got the keys to success. Let us get you in the car and drive you around a little bit before we put you behind the wheel. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, speaking of that, right? We'll help you do the small little tweaks that you need to make to the engine. Other than that, you're ready to go. And then adjusting the compensation, again, that's pretty self-explanatory in terms of what you need to do. And then at the end of the day, just don't give them any options. When you go out to your partner, I know it maybe sounds harsh. When you go out to your partner, explain to them exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it. Don't give them options. So with all of that said, I come to one of my favorite lines from any movie at all: have fun storming the castle. Okay, so guys, go out, go forth and multiply, and you've got an awesome resource in us. We will help you do every part of this that you need help doing. So don't be afraid to use that resource. So at the end of the day right now, what do you need to do? Reach out to your Cenex rep, reach out to your Waterdog rep. They'll make the magic happen. You can visit us. You can visit our website. That link there with waterdog.com/workspace as a service / that is where you can find that video. You can find a lot of good information there. There's pricing there. There's everything that you need to know is right up front. We're very clear about all of that. If you want to connect with somebody, you can go to our website, or you can shoot an email over to hello@waterdogtech.com. So with all that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor to questions, and I'm going to see if we've got any questions that anyone might want to ask. I've got the question box open, and I will go ahead and take any questions that you guys have right now. Okay. All right. I've got a question here. Somebody said, hey, you asked about our pricing, and is that per customer or per MSP? So basically what I think you mean is with our packages, basically that package, when you buy a package, that's for your company, right? You don't have to buy a package for each one of your clients. You buy one package and you load up as many of your clients onto the package as possible. And then when you reach a critical mass, you extend the package and make it bigger. So hopefully that answered your question. Yes, it works with WebRoot. Yeah, bottom line is, yeah, about antivirus. What kind of antivirus? Any antivirus, doesn't matter to us. Doesn't matter what backup you use. Doesn't matter what RMM you use. So anything that you guys have in terms of basically whatever tools you're using today, those tools will work in the Workspace as a Service platform as well. Okay, great question. I've got one here. How long does a first deployment usually take? That's a great question. So usually what I tell people is plan on 3 weeks for your first deployment. It will not take that long, and obviously it depends. If you've got a 300-person deployment, that's going to be, you probably want to give a little bit longer because there's going to be a lot of learning there. If you've got a 5-person organization, the deployment is going to be quicker there, and there's going to be less variable, so less things to learn. So what I usually tell people is tell your client 3 weeks, but I just don't see, I can't see it ever taking longer than that. We'll be very hands-on and holding your hand for that. You're welcome. Okay, so I think that's all the questions that we've got for right now. Please visit our website. Please reach out to your rep, ask any other questions after the fact. If you need a demo, I'm sorry, I think we just have one more question come across here. Let's see here. This is strictly based on terminal server scenario, correct? Not a virtualization of individual. Trick question. So yes, it's on terminal servers, but because you control the AD and because it's single tenant, it can be virtualized down to the independent user. That's a bigger question that if you want to talk about offline, we can get into. I want to make sure that I understand exactly what you're asking. But yes, it is terminal servers, but because it's single tenant and you control the Active Directory, there's a lot of flexibility even down to the user level in terms of virtualization. So maybe that's a question we could take offline, and I could maybe understand a little bit deeper where you're coming from with that. Okay, so you're welcome. So I think that's it. That's all the questions I've got. I've kept you guys. I'm going to maybe try and give you guys about 12 minutes back in your day. I want to thank all of you for taking the time with us today. and sitting through our presentation. If you're interested in a demo, I believe that they've got me scheduled to do one of those tomorrow. If not, you can reach out to your rep and they will help you get a demo up and running as well. And then also reach out to your rep if you are looking to get signed up and you would like to get access to your Google credits. We will get that taken care of for you as well. So again, thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Good luck and have fun storming the castle.